I haven't posted a video in a while. I've been kind of busy trying to gather myself up a little bit after a severe breakdown that I had a couple of weeks back. So since then, I have really tried to focus on working on myself and rebuilding myself both mentally and somewhat physically, although I'm taking that part very, very slow. And not only mentally and physically, but also neurologically. So after doing tons of research and looking and trying to figure out what's going on with me, and deciding that doctors really can't help me, I've decided to do a few things. First is I'm going tomorrow for my initial appointment to a sleep center. Poor sleep is at the center of a lot of health issues. I know I've had poor sleep for a very long time, so I'm going to work on taking care of that. Don't know how that's going to end up. I'm sure I have some form of sleep apnea. Although I don't snore, I probably stop breathing at times during the night. I'm a very light sleeper, so I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I'm going to try not to think too much about it. I'm just going to go to my appointment and probably at some point do a sleep study and just go from there. I'm kind of hoping I don't have to wear a CPAP mask, because I really can't imagine doing that. But if that's what it comes to, if that means improving my health, then I'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way to do that. The other thing that I've been working on, and I just started a few days ago, is the DNRS program, Dynamic Neural Retraining System, I think is what it stands for. You can Google it, DNRS, or something along the lines of rewiring the brain. So the theory that I'm working on is that a lot of my issues are caused by a dysregulation of the autonomic nervous system, or as DNRS refers to it as the limbic system, which technically the limbic system is a little bit higher in the hierarchy of brain function than the autonomic nervous system. So I don't know, ask a neurologist, but I think limbic system controls the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is broken into two basic parts, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. Sympathetic nervous system is fight or flight. Parasympathetic nervous system is rest and relax. If you're in constant fight or flight mode, a lot of things biochemically happen in your body. Adrenaline, norepinephrine, cortisol, a lot of chemicals that are important at certain times, but at other times, in chronic situations, they're not good. So DNRS basically suggests that when you've been in chronic pain, chronic distress, chronic anxiety for long periods of time, and couple that with some other traumas, physical traumas, emotional traumas, physical traumas being things like, viral infections, emotional traumas, could be a lot of different things, parent dying, stuff like that. So when I take a step back as kind of a conscious observer of my situation. A lot of those things have happened to me over the past year. My father died a few years back. Had a friend die of stomach cancer. A lot of my issues were gastrointestinal related. I've had other stresses in my life. I've had, a couple of infections, 2 chronic infections. One of them was in my tooth. One of them was in my toe. And I kind of just tended to ignore those. I don't know why. I just did. It was stupid. And then I had a couple of sinus infections. And, and all this happened in a relatively short amount of time. Certainly, in less than a year, but the sinus infections on top of the chronic infections happened pretty quickly. And at the same time, it was when I was going to the doctors over and over again, going to doctor after doctor after doctor, and they doing test after test after test, and we was waiting on results. The whole, is it a brain tumor? Is it stomach cancer? Is it, 1,000 other different things, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, what is it? So that caused me a tremendous amount of anxiety and panic attacks, lots and lots and lots and lots of panic attacks. So when I step back and take a look at all that stuff, it kind of makes sense that, my brain is basically stuck in a trauma loop. And one of the theories behind this is, and I think it's more than a theory, I think it's scientifically proven that the more you use certain neural pathways, the stronger they become. And the neural pathways that you don't use, they become weaker, or, they get pruned away, basically. For lack of a better term, those synapses die and disappear. So when you're in a constant trauma loop, the pathways that control the fear, the panic, the overreactions of your immune system, and this is important key, is the overreaction of your immune system. Those neural pathways get stronger and they become more efficient. They fire much easier because you're using them constantly. And I was. This past year, I have been in pretty much a constant state of worry, panic, illness. I forgot how to smile. I mean, I almost literally forgot how to smile. I can't remember the last time I smiled. It's crazy. And the flip side of the neural pathways that lead to anxiety are the neural pathways that lead to happiness, and the neural pathways that get stronger when you laugh, and when you experience joy, and when you're at peace. The neural pathways that use chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, those chemicals and those pathways have become very weak, or at least that's the theory. So I bought the DNRS system. It's not cheap. It's certainly cheaper than a lot of the tests I've had. I guess that's one way to look at it. Relative to the amount of money that I've spent going to the doctors, I mean, it's nothing. So I figured, why not? Give it a try. I've been doing it for a few days. I am skeptical of things like this. I always have been. I need to see the science. And there is science there. There's definitely science there. And the science makes sense. And the symptoms that I have I have just felt for a long time that it's me that's causing it, or not me. It's my brain that's causing it. And this, and keep one thing very, very clear. This is not psychological. This is neurological. Okay? There is a psychological component to it. Anxiety is psychological. Depression is psychological. Immune response is physiological. And what controls immune response? Neurology. Right? Okay? What tells your body to release histamine? Your brain. What tells your body, that your heart rate needs to go up or your blood pressure needs to go up? Your brain. What tells your lungs to breathe? Your brain. You don't think about those things. So, getting back to the autonomic nervous system, when you have severe reactions to otherwise benign situations or benign chemicals or benign foods, it's your autonomic nervous system, or rather your limbic system, that's telling your body this is dangerous. So anyway, that's the theory. I bought the system. I'm doing it. I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to do it the right way. I'm a few days in, and some of the issues that I've been having over the past couple of weeks have gotten a little better. So, as skeptical as I am about this stuff, I'm going to give it every chance to succeed. I will give it every single chance to succeed.